Everyone's telling you to hustle harder, build more funnels, and chase more leads. But that's exactly why you're stuck. I built a $40 million business by doing the opposite of what every guru teaches. And today, I'm gonna show you the 11 steps that actually work. These aren't theories. This is the exact roadmap I used, which has worked for thousands of my clients. But here's the thing most people won't tell you. This isn't just about business strategy. It's about how you think and who you have to become in the process. Let's get into it. Step number 1, spiritual vision. You have to build a business based on who you have become. Now, if you're going to create something, doesn't it just make sense that it should be in alignment with who you've become in the process of your life? What I know to be true is that our lives are intelligently designed. We come in with a certain set of skills, a unique way of viewing life, and then over the course of our lives, we have experiences that we learn from. We have challenges that we overcome and we grow from. And all of that has built the person that you are today. This is the concept of the spiritual vision. You've literally been designed to create something extraordinary. Now, what is it? Well, for me, I went through a lot of suffering. Alcoholism, drug addiction, sex addiction, and those things were a result of unresolved trauma and limiting beliefs, feeling like I wasn't enough, that there was something wrong with me. And since I was 20, I had also been an entrepreneur. I started in scaling businesses. I also had this unique gift of being a good communicator, breaking down complex concepts and making them simple so people could understand them. All of that has culminated into my spiritual vision, really the vision for what my spirit is meant to do, and that is to end all human suffering. And the way I do that is by making the complex simple. I decided to put that into a structure of a transformational coaching company in order to deliver that into the world. So I overcame my own suffering, and now I'm passionate about helping others, and I'm good at it. That's my spiritual vision. So what is yours? Start to look for what it is that is unique about you. What is it that you're passionate about as a result of your own lived experience? It may not be helping people with their mindset or their business. Maybe it's helping them with their relationships or their health, or to have more fun, or to sleep better. Whatever it is, that's your spiritual vision. And when you can translate that into a business, your business becomes an extension of you in the world. And when your business is your passion, that keeps things in alignment. It keeps you going when things get tough, as they will. It keeps you committed and moving forward on the days you don't feel like working, because your business is your mission in the world. So this is step 1. You must align your business with your spiritual vision, which is really who you've become. Step 2, identify your ideal client. So you got to find an ideal client, and you got to dial it in and make sure it's very, very specific. This is the only way that you're going to be able to stand out in all of this attention deficit environment that we're in. It's by speaking to a specific person. Now, when I first realized that I wanted to help people transform their minds and end their personal suffering, my experience had been in 12-step recovery. And so I created a course to help people who were in addiction recovery go beyond recovery and learn personal growth principles so they could have a more expansive life. I did all the things. I built a digital course. I started creating all the online funnels. And when I finally launched the thing, nobody bought. And the reason was because people in that market are used to being able to go to a meeting for free. So a lot of people confused what I was providing them with their free 12-step meetings. And so I made a pivot. I had to focus on people who were interested in law of attraction and manifesting your reality. I redid all of my marketing. I relaunched my efforts. But what I found was a lot of people who were interested in law of attraction weren't actually attracting money into their life. And so it was a very difficult ideal client to have. And I finally decided to go after entrepreneurs. And that was actually a great move in terms of coherence, because it was bringing all of my experience into my business. And so now I've built a very successful business from $0 to $40 million, helping entrepreneurs not only transform their minds, but learn the tactics and strategies that they need to be successful in their business. So one of the important things to understand here in step number 2, when you choose your niche, is that all things being equal, go after a group of people who find even more value in what you have to offer and can afford to pay you a lot of money for it, right? So this is a really important thing. If there's 3 different groups of people that you could be working with and all of them feel equal, it'll be easier for you if you decide to go after an ideal client or a niche that has more financial resource. That's number 1. Number 2, a lot of teachers out there talk about the ideal client or dialing in on a niche, but they don't teach it very well. So they'll say something like, well, your ideal client is someone who's 30 to 50 years old. But that's not an ideal client. It's way too broad. I could say, well, I help people between the ages of 30 and 50 with their mindset. But you really have to get into the emotional experience of who you serve. In order to do that, you have to dial it down, because the emotional experience, for example, of someone between the ages of 30 and 50 who's a stay-at-home mom who doesn't have their mindset right is a very different experience than a CEO who's running a business. And so by dialing it in even further, you're able to develop what's really important in step 3, and that is your messaging. So step 3, you have to create irresistible messaging. So you have to find a way to communicate what you do to your ideal client that stands out from everybody else. There's a concept called blue ocean and red ocean. There was a book called Blue Ocean. It was really a powerful marketing book for me because it teaches that the red ocean is the market where everybody else is kind of talking about the same things in the same way. And so people who are buying from the red ocean are looking for the cheapest possible price point on whatever it is they're purchasing, because everything feels the same. It feels like a commodity. The idea here is the red ocean is where everybody is hunting. It's like having fish in the ocean where all the sharks are. It's a red ocean, right? A bloodied ocean. The blue ocean is where you distinguish yourself from other people in your market. And an example is, I'm not presenting transformation through motivation and inspiration, which feels very red ocean. There are a lot of people doing that on YouTube, running seminars, creating courses. But what I've done is I've leveraged my own experience and combined neuroscience with behavioral psychology and spiritual wisdom teachings. That's what's made me unique in my market. And so the way I communicate to people is about transforming the way they think. It's about down-regulating their nervous system. It's about building a deeper relationship with their higher power that starts to stand out amongst the motivation and inspiration of the red ocean. There's a framework that we teach actually in our messaging that's called What I Found. And the What I Found framework is really, really cool. So when people ask me what I do, I don't actually tell them what I do. I tell them what I've found. Right? I say what I found is that most entrepreneurs are chasing strategies when really their issue is their mindset. What I found is that most people are struggling in their life and they're trying to change their external circumstances, not realizing that they create their own reality. This makes me sound interesting. It inspires someone to say, tell me more about that. It's like I'm a researcher or an expert in my field. And once you get messaging dialed in, step 4 is creating your offer. Now, one of the really interesting things here is that I believe there's a magic range of an offer price. I think whatever it is that you do, you should charge between $3,000 and $8,000 for your services. This works especially well if you're a coach or a consultant or a service provider. And it's actually a magic number because what it is that you offer, say a 90-day coaching program or a monthly retainer if you're a digital marketing agency, what you'll find is for the right ideal client, it's absolutely worth at least $3,000 to $8,000 in value. In fact, much, much more, right? Think about it. If you can help someone transform their relationship, is that worth $3,000 to $8,000? If the answer is no, you've probably got the wrong ideal client. If you can help someone grow their business and generate 5, 10, 15 more customers a month, is that worth $3,000 to $8,000? And so out of 1,000 clients, we've actually never seen a business that could not charge between $3,000 and $8,000 with a properly structured offer. And when you charge this much, especially if you're just getting started in your business or you're trying to get to 6 figures or more, you only need a few clients a month for it to be a game changer financially for you. So if you're only charging something like $125 an hour, you got to get 10 clients to make $1,250. But you can make 3, 4, 5 times that with one client if you're charging between $3,000 to $8,000. And I learned the hard way. I started underpricing at $125 an hour for a session. That was taking up a bunch of my time. I had a lot of clients at one point, but I still wasn't making a lot of money, and I had to generate a lot of leads in order to get those clients. But when I increased my prices to $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 rather than $125 a session, I ended up losing about half my clients, but I was charging 4 times as much. Now you do the math. You start making more money, and now you have more time to actually grow your business. So undercharging is one of the biggest challenges that most entrepreneurs have. Premium pricing creates transformation, not just transactions. Step number 5, you've got to learn some basic enrollment and persuasion skills. So you have to get good at selling. But a lot of people have blocks around selling. They think, selling is sleazy. Somebody sold to me in the wrong way and I don't want to sleaze somebody else, right? I think selling is actually helping someone overcome the objections they have to the business or the life or the dreams that they hold. So I actually view the enrollment conversation as a sacred activity. And so I take it seriously as such. So enrollment is a service. The purpose of having an enrollment conversation is not to show somebody, by the way, how to have a breakthrough and to give them everything that you've got. It's just to convince them that they need someone to help them and that you are the one who can actually help them achieve it. And there's so many ways today that you can leverage things like AI to come up with a great sales script, which I highly recommend you use when you're first having an enrollment conversations. You can literally use ChatGPT to build a simple sales script and in it address your client's objections. And you just stick to the script. The other really important thing is if you have a really good sales conversion rate, you need much fewer leads in order to make a lot of money, right? If you have to generate more leads, you're putting pressure on the marketing side of your business. Leads are actually the hardest thing to generate, making converting prospects into clients something that's really, really important if you want to create a successful business. And just, think about it for a minute. If you've got 20 leads and you're closing them at 10%, you've got 2 clients. But if you've got 10 leads and you're closing them at 50%, that's 5 clients. So learning some basic enrollment and persuasion skills, critically important for your business. Step number 6, you want to align your marketing with what you do best. Okay, and this just sort of makes sense. There are a lot of people who believe they're only one funnel away. That's something that the market is saying. They're an impact-driven or expert entrepreneurs. They got into this business to help people. They're heart-centered. They're not internet marketers, but now they're trying to figure out internet marketing because they're one funnel away. Or launch a podcast, which of course I have one, but it's taken me years to build it out. There are a lot of bad recommendations out there. But what I believe is that you should align your marketing with what you're good at and what you love to do, because then you're more likely to do it and do it well. And so for most people, coaches, consultants, service providers, experts, knowledge-based entrepreneurs, this is something that I call presentations. So if you can get good at sharing your knowledge and expertise and doing it in a way that attracts people to you and convert them into clients, now you're doing what you love to do and you're making money doing it. So again, most people are teachers. They have a knowledge that they want to share. But when I first started, I was told that I was, again, one funnel away, that I should launch a podcast, that I should write a book. And I tried all those things, especially the online marketing thing. And not only did it crush my soul, because rather than being out there engaging and helping people, I was trying to become an internet marketer and trapped in my computer, but I wasn't actually generating any clients. And so I focused all of my marketing around a presentation strategy. I translated my expertise into a high converting presentation and everything started to align. Like, ask yourself this question: wouldn't you love to be considered a thought leader or an influencer and be able to speak from stages and be interviewed on podcasts and be generating clients, building a multi-million-dollar business at the same time? Well, for me, I believe that presentations is the best way to do that. You're just out there sharing your knowledge and expertise as your marketing strategy. So when I'm doing a webinar, it's a presentation. When I'm giving a keynote from stage, it's a presentation. When I'm speaking to a small room, it's a presentation. When I meet someone at a networking event and have a conversation, it's actually a presentation. My annual live event, the Powerful Living Experience, which is 3 days long, is 3 days of presentations. What you're listening to right now might seem like a podcast episode. Guess what it is? It's a presentation. Hey, it's David. If you've been loving what you've learned so far and you're ready to actually implement these strategies to start, grow, or scale your business and do it without ads, without burnout, hustle or grind or overwhelm, here is the next step. We've opened up some spots on my team's calendar. I want you to click the link in the show notes or just go to davidbusinessplan.com. There you're going to be able to schedule a complimentary strategy session with my team. They're going to walk you through the exact process that I use to grow my business from zero to over $40 million in revenue. And on that call, they're going to map out how you can apply this framework to generate high-paying clients in your business fast. Now, we've got a very limited number of spots available on the calendar. So if you're serious, jump on it now, click on that link, complete the brief application survey, and get your call scheduled. And now, let's get back to your regularly scheduled episode. Step number 7, build your business offline, not online. Now, this might be the most important point. Online is the easiest game to get into, but online is the hardest game to win because you are swimming in a sea of competition. Everyone posting on social media, swiping within seconds your message away and looking at the next one, building this funnel and that funnel. Offline is where you're actually able to capture attention and build a successful business that eventually over time you will translate into the online game. But it's not where you start. I would say unless you're doing $250,000 to $500,000 a year in your business, stay offline. I was doing all the online stuff and not producing any results. And then a buddy called me up and he said, hey, I know your work. I had met him out in the real world, not online, at an event that I was attending. We had dinner together, a great conversation. I shared with him what I found in my messaging. And he followed up and said, hey, my business networking group is looking for speakers. I think you'd be a great speaker. Would you come in and present to my group for 60 minutes? So of course I was super nervous. This was the first time I ever did anything like this, but I did it anyway. And there were only 15 people in the room. At the end of the conversation, I said, hey, if you're interested in learning how to go deeper on this with me, let me know. We can set up a time to talk. 5 people scheduled a call with me, 3 enrolled as clients. At that time, it was a 6-month mindset and business coaching program that I was doing one-on-one for $9,000. I made $27,000 from that one talk. So for over a year, I tried to figure out the online game. I spent over $100,000 learning from all these gurus and experts trying to make money with funnels and courses and Facebook ads and growing an email list. And after an hour in front of a group of just 15 people face to face, I closed $27,000 in new business. And I learned this: online, you're one of thousands. Offline, you're the expert in the room. There's a rule that Google came up with. It's called the 7-11-4 rule. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. And what they basically say is in order for someone to buy from you, it requires 7 hours of engagement, 11 different touch points across 4 separate digital platforms, right? I mean, think about how much effort that is to be able to get in front of someone that consistently and that broadly. I have a different rule. It's called the 1-1-1 rule. And I give one presentation, one time, and enroll people directly into it. And I generate clients. This is why I believe that offline presentations are the ultimate strategy for coaches, consultants, and service providers that want to start, grow, or scale their business. Step number 8. When you start working one-on-one with people. Now, this is really important to understand. A lot of the market is trying to tell you that you should launch a digital course or a group coaching program, or that you shouldn't be trading your time for money, or you should be filling a workshop or an event. In fact, I think one of the stupidest things that's ever been told to people is that they shouldn't trade their time for money, because you're always trading your time for money. We just want you trading your time for lots of money. So one-on-one is the key here, because one-on-one, working with someone directly, has the least number of objections. If people want to work with you, they want to work with you one-on-one. And so there's a natural progression. You start working with people one-on-one, and it's great, especially if you're charging $3,000 to $8,000 per client. You're enrolling a couple clients a month from doing presentations offline. And after you start enrolling a handful of clients, you'll eventually start running out of you time, because you've got to do the sales and marketing and run your business, and you've got to fulfill for your clients. But you're making money. And that's when you can launch a one-to-many program, like a group coaching program or a small group intensive. You're out there, you're sharing your knowledge and expertise. Not everybody necessarily wants to buy for you, but maybe you're building a small email list, you're building a following, and now you launch your group coaching program. So it costs less to work with you in the group environment. But you know what? Some people are going to want to pay a premium to work with you one-on-one. So you raise your one-on-one prices, and you tell your current clients, you know what? You can go into the group if you still want to work with me. And when you're having conversations with people, you say, I've got 2 options. I've got one-on-one, which is premium priced, or you can work in my group. And what happens is you've just opened up a lot of time for yourself, because you're working with many people at once. So keep in mind, I started at $125 an hour as a life coach. And as I worked through this process, built up my following, built up my email list, got out there speaking, I increased my prices over time. Now, it's $150,000 to work with me one-on-one over the course of a year. And all my private clients get, in terms of my time directly, is 1 monthly one-on-one coaching call with me. That's a pretty good trade for time. Step number 9, create a digital course. Yes, I do believe in digital courses. I just don't believe you should start with one. So after you launch a group program, you launch a course. Because the first time that you run a group coaching program or you run a workshop, you're going to learn a lot of things. You're going to get a lot of questions that you didn't know you were going to get. And you find answers to those questions. And now finally you've mastered things to a new level. You create a digital course. So you codify your way of doing things into a digital course that anybody can access. Could be a $97 digital course, could be a $497 digital course, could be a $2,000 digital course. But now you start to have the whole portfolio of products and services. So people can work with you one-on-one, they can work with you in a group or work with someone else on your team, or they can purchase your knowledge through a digital course. And the really cool thing is that as you're giving presentations, now rather than just telling people that they could schedule a call with you to work with you, you can actually sell your course. And you can include, along with that course purchase, a free consultation with you. Now you're not having conversations with prospects, you're actually having conversations with buyers. But this is really crucial, this order. You start with one-on-one. It gives you the experience and the testimonials. You move to group coaching, which helps you refine your methodology. And then the course becomes the natural documentation of your proven process. And now you've got the whole business structure in place. You start to experience the portfolio effect. Every conversation you have, people can work with you at different price points and different commitment levels. And this creates multiple revenue streams from the same core expertise. Now, what this progression naturally leads to is more authority status and the ability to command premium pricing across all of your offerings. Step number 10, start to automate things and amplify with AI. So here's where we want to start to automate things. Now's the time where you start to think about building a lead magnet, building a freebie, building an email marketing sequence, maybe taking your presentation that you've been mastering offline and building it into a webinar online, and then creating a funnel and maybe advertising on Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. But notice here, at this point, you already have a business in place. So you're already making good money. You've gotten better at what you do. You've hired a team. And now is the time to start playing the online game, but not before. And there's an opportunity as well to amplify everything with AI. AI is now making everything 10 times faster, 10 times better, and 10 times easier. The amount of time it takes me to create an outline for a podcast episode or rip out one of my presentations is a fraction of what it took before. And my messaging is so on point because I've programmed my AI to really understand my audience and to understand me. But the big mistake that 90% of entrepreneurs make is that they're sold this idea of multiple streams of recurring revenue and building an online funnel and launching a digital course and sitting back on a beach in Bora Bora waiting for the money to roll in. And that's a pipe dream, right? What I'm telling you is the way to actually get to the point that you can be living wherever you want and sitting on the beach and making money is to actually follow this process and build each piece step by step by step. The beautiful thing about AI is you can use it to eliminate 80% of the busy work so that you can actually focus on what matters, and that's connecting with real people. This is an important distinction. Don't use AI to create content that nobody sees. Use it to build your foundations and presentation. And so I'm using AI literally on a daily basis to translate my frameworks into my messaging, to build better offers, and to find even more innovative ways to reach my audience, meaning you. Step 11, master your mindset. So this is really the wrapper for the entire model. And that is, you got to put your mindset first. You have to treat your mindset like your life depends on it, because it does. As you grow your business, your limiting beliefs are going to show up. And they're going to lead you to places like indecision, procrastination, feeling like you're not good enough, comparing yourself to other people. And what this is trauma that's coming up as a result of trying to grow your business. And this trauma is going to prevent you from growing your business unless you deal with it. I like to say that the brain is a goal-achieving machine. And basically, what you believe creates your reality. And that's not just some sort of woo-woo. Your beliefs on a moment-by-moment basis are determining how you think. And your thoughts are creating your emotions. And your emotions are determining what actions you do or do not take. And your actions produce results. And so this is just fundamental to behavioral psychology. Your brain is a goal-achieving machine. And if you're trying to grow your business while feeling like you're not good enough or you don't have enough time or money is hard to make, that's going to become your reality. I think business is the greatest spiritual game that there is. Business and maybe the primary or personal relationship that you're in with a significant other, because they're both mirrors that reflect back to you those things that need to be healed inside of you. So you can do all the other steps that I've already shared, but if you don't have this step down and you don't make it a daily practice, you don't find the right tools, you don't get the right mentorship, you don't get the right coaching, then you're going to be stuck. Because you have to transform your mindset. Even if you're working all the other steps, you're not going to be able to create success because you're working against yourself. Or if you do, it won't be sustainable. And so I use my business as an opportunity to continue to become more aware of the resistance that I have, of the limiting beliefs that I have, of the trauma that I have, and in order to work through them. So most people try to skip these steps or do them in the wrong order. They want to automate before they have anything to automate. They want to build funnels before they understand their message or their market. And I wish someone had shown me this sequence from the beginning, right? Because my path was not nearly as linear. I had to make a lot of mistakes and learn from them. It looked like a crazy squiggly line, but this is ultimately what we realized was the way to do all of the things. And when you follow this sequence, all these pieces stack on top of each other. Your authority builds, your pricing increases, your testimonials multiply. You're not just building a business, you're building something that serves your spiritual evolution. And here's the reality. You just learned a system that took me 15 years and over $500,000 in mistakes to figure out. And you can spend the next decade trying to piece together yourself, or you can shortcut the entire process. Most people will watch this video, get excited, and then do absolutely nothing with it. They'll go back to chasing the next shiny object, the next funnel, the next hack that promises overnight success. And I don't want you to be like most people. So here's what I've done. Right now, we've actually opened up time to get on the calendar with my coaches to have a one-on-one strategic action plan call where we'll build your personal roadmap to implement these exact 11 steps in your business. But here's what most people don't realize. The difference between a $50,000 year and a $500,000 year isn't actually more knowledge. It's having someone who's already done it hold you accountable to actually doing the work. So on this call, we're going to identify which of these 11 steps is your biggest bottleneck right now. We're going to create your 90-day action plan and show you exactly how to implement this system without wasting years figuring out alone. No pitch, no pressure. If we think there's a fit, we'll introduce that to you and we'll absolutely talk about it. But we just want to give you a clear roadmap for your next level. Now, I'm only doing this for people who are serious. If you're actually wanting to start, grow, and scale your business right now. So if you're looking for another magic pill strategy or get rich quick scheme, this is not for you. But if you're ready to do the real work and finally build a business that reflects who you're becoming, then click the link in the show notes or go to davidbusinessplan.com and book your one-on-one strategic action plan. We've only got a limited number of these calls available each week. They're filling up fast. I don't want you to be the person who watches this video 6 months from now wishing you had taken action today. The link is in the description in the show notes, or again, you can go to davidbusinessplan.com and get your call scheduled. There's a short application form that takes just a few minutes that we want you to fill out so we can be ready for our time together. But go ahead, click the link in the show notes because I'm telling you, your future self will thank you for making this decision today. And if this episode resonated with you, do me a favor, subscribe. If you're following on YouTube, let me know in the comments which of these 11 steps hit you the hardest. I read every single one. And remember, you don't get what you want in life, you get who you're being. So stop being someone who just consumes content. Be someone who takes action, and I'll see you in the next episode.